Ever have one of those nights where the universe just picks you out of a crowd and says, "Yeah, this one's getting flattened tonight"? That was me, alone on my own damn ranch, camping by the lake, holding on to the last thread of the life Emily and I built together. We bought this land a decade ago, 10 years. And now some caffeine-fueled, title-drunk HOA president has the audacity to tell me I'm trespassing on property I've paid taxes on for a third of my adult life. I was sitting there under the cottonwoods nursing a budget beer, just thinking maybe, just maybe, Emily might walk out of the darkness and sit beside me like old times. Then came the sirens, red and blue lights tearing through the night sky, reflecting on the water like we were filming some C-list crime drama. And who's stepping out behind those lights? None other than Patricia Ellison, Queen of Crest View Heights, heels sinking into my soil like the land should apologize for existing. "That's him, officer," she snapped, finger pointed at me like I was smuggling illegal fireworks instead of reminiscing beside a fire pit. Her voice was sharp, smug, full of righteous outrage. And there's poor Deputy Brian stuck between fishing here as a kid and whatever promises Patty's dangling under the table now. I could have laughed, but I was too damn furious. I pulled out my land papers, edges worn soft from being folded in my pocket for years, and practically threw them at Brian. "You know me. 10 years, I said. Deeds, property tax, every last receipt. This lake is mine." But Patty just curled her lip, waved those manicured claws, and said, "Could be forged. Everyone knows this lake belongs to Crest View Heights." "Sure, Patty. Everyone knows because you post it on Facebook twice a week." Brian looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. He muttered something about getting it sorted, but I could see it. He was calculating the risk. Patty had been sweet-talking the department about new gear, squad car budgets, maybe even a sheriff's badge. And there I was, a half-drunk middle-aged guy with a broken heart and a bonfire. Then she smiled, tight and fake, and said, "This land's not yours, and soon, everybody will know it." Something broke loose inside me. Emily's voice echoed in my head. "Protect what we made, Dan." Driving home, I saw her face in my rearview mirror. It took everything I had not to break down. And then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Text read, "Leave the lake or you'll lose more than land." That's when I knew. It wasn't just HOA drama. There was something deeper, uglier. I spent the night digging through files, surveys, tax records, even old town plats. That's when I saw it. One little word scribbled in pencil on an archived map. Shared. My stomach dropped. Was that Patty's angle? A forgotten loophole? A technicality that could erase a decade of ownership? I needed answers. And there was only one person left in this town who knew every trick buried beneath these fields. Evelyn Harper. She'd lived here longer than any HOA sign had stood. When I called, she didn't sound surprised. "Let me guess. Patty Ellison sniffing around your lake," she said. "Told me to come by in the morning. Promised she'd show me something I needed to see." Then, right on cue, I got an email from Patty, full of legal jargon, lawsuit threats, and attached photos of me at my own lake, time-stamped, clear as day. Somebody had been tailing me for months, like I was the villain in some suburban soap opera. Next morning, a knock at the door. Todd Brennan, one of Patty's twitchy little board members, showed up with an offer. Sign over the lake and they'd make it all go away. I told him to take a hike. His smile vanished, and he stammered out a threat before scurrying off. At Evelyn's, she poured me tea and handed over a thick folder of dusty court docs. She told me about the Garrisons, a family who lost everything after Patty and her crew pulled similar scams. False water rights, redrawn property lines, HOA corruption dressed up as bureaucracy. "She's not even original," Evelyn said, handing me an old photo. Patty at a different lake years ago, holding a canister with hazard warnings on it. Suddenly it clicked. This wasn't her first rodeo. That afternoon I spotted Todd at the grocery store. He looked like he'd seen a ghost. "She's dangerous, Dan," he whispered. "Just walk away." Instead, I went home and installed cameras. Some visible, most hidden. That night, I sat glued to the feeds. Just after midnight, someone snuck down to the lake. Flash of an HOA badge. Then they dumped a dark liquid into the water. Something thick, nasty. I could almost smell the poison through the screen. I took it straight to Brian. Showed him everything. Time-stamped footage. Faces. Even caught Patty's reflection in one clip. "Jesus, Dan," he muttered. "She played me." He promised to investigate, but I needed more, so I baited the trap. I sent a fake surrender letter. Let Patty think she'd won. She threw herself a party, prancing around town like she owned the place. Meanwhile, I was collecting witness statements, tracking timelines, screenshotting every boast she made online. Then it hit. News stations aired the videos. EPA got involved. Test results showed the lake had been poisoned. Court turned into a battlefield. Patty's lawyer called me a fraud. Her fan club shouted me down. But the facts lined up. Nevada records, property scams, surveillance of her team, vandalizing my land. Even Todd cracked under pressure, testified everything. The judge wasn't buying her act. He stripped her of her position, slammed the HOA with massive fines, and had Patty escorted out, screaming, convinced she was the hero of the story. You'd think that would be the end. Nope. A few days later, I found a knife stuck in my gate with a note. "Give up, or your ranch burns." Turns out Patty still had loyalists, but this time, the community stood with me, even those who never liked me before. Using the settlement money Emily always said to save for something important, I bought a chunk of Crest View Heights, including the community center and the golf course. Then came the final twist. I walked into a board meeting with the deed in my hand and called for an emergency election. Faces turned ghost white. Patty, watching from courthouse steps, nearly slipped off her designer heels. That night, we threw a celebration by the lake. The water, slowly healing, reflected firelight and laughter. Not the kind you fake at HOA mixers, the kind that feels like home. For the first time in forever, I felt her, Emily, beside me, her voice echoing in my chest. "This lake's our home, Dan. Don't let anyone take it." So here's my question to you. When is enough enough? How far should someone go to defend what's theirs, to stand up against greed and corruption hiding behind polite smiles and bylaws? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about justice, community, and what it really means to fight for home.